The only words that could possibly be sweeter were, "I'm sorry." Sorry for all the jokes and jabs. Sorry for snagging that fellowship out from under her. Sorry for somehow weaseling his way to get this gig. Some connection through Dr. Corrie, no doubt. And maybe even a sorry for that night in the library. For leading her on. There was no doubt in her mind that he'd wanted to kiss her. If they'd been given 30 more seconds, his lips would have been on hers, 100%. How they'd managed to be locked on Addison Crawley's only a few days later was beyond her. And damn it, it had hurt. Corrie was surprised by how much it had hurt, seeing as until that night she never would have considered having any interest in Ford Matthews. Well, okay, not like serious interest at least. The man was damn fine, and she had a libido. Even despite how much she hated him now, she couldn't deny the way her body reacted to him. But that was sexual interest. Dating interest? Relationship interest? Not over her dead body. But something had changed that night. That night she'd viewed Ford as more than her nemesis. And the next morning, she'd pictured what it might have been like to have Ford waking up next to her and sitting at her kitchen counter while she made him breakfast. Or maybe he would have made her breakfast. And then perhaps he'd have pulled her into his arms, with her in his t-shirt that barely covered her ass. And he'd have kissed her. And the bacon would have burned because they'd been so engrossed in each other that they hadn't even noticed the smoke until the smoke detector went off. Yeah. He needed to apologize for allowing her to picture those things. Pretty things, when she didn't believe in pretty things. And then throwing it all in her face by replacing that vision with one of him doing all those same things with Addison fucking Crawley. "Corrie, you all right?" The question snapped Corrie out of her rage, loosening her grip on the small worn map Ford had handed her earlier. Wow. That memory changed her mood fast. Her gaze shot to Ethan, who stood in front of her with a worried look on his face. Corrie allowed her body to relax before she spoke. "Yeah, I'm fine. Just worried I left the oven on," she said, forcing a joke. She hadn't realized how much her past with Ford still affected her. She hadn't thought about Ford in years. 2 days ago, he couldn't have been any farther from her mind. Honestly, it pissed her off that she was allowing him to get under her skin like this. Pissed her off that she had any feelings about him after all this time. Why couldn't she let it roll off her? "Please, like you ever use the oven," Ethan said, curling up his lip. "You're thinking about Ford, aren't you?" Corrie blinked several times. Was it that obvious? "What? God, no, Ethan. Don't be ridiculous," she said, trying her best to keep her voice calm and even. "So you're not thinking something's up with him? Because I sure am." Corrie cocked her head and squinted at Ethan. This got interesting. "What do you mean?" Ethan shrugged. "I don't know. Something's not right. I mean, we both know how he is, but lately, something's especially off. Ever since we started this dig. But that call just now? The way his demeanor shifted? Well, we both know he's not like that. Since the dig started? That meant Ford's being off had begun before she arrived.